The command deck of the Valorian warship hummed with anticipation as General Krexith stood before the holographic display. His chitinous armor gleamed under the harsh violet lights, each plate a testament to victories across 17 conquered systems. Behind him, his officers maintained their rigid postures, awaiting the inevitable surrender transmission from the human colony below. Commander Sarah Chen sat in the ruins of the Planetary Defense Center, dust still settling from the orbital bombardment. Her uniform was torn, her face streaked with ash and blood, but her eyes remained sharp as diamonds. The communication console crackled to life, projecting the towering form of Krexith into the debris-filled room. The general's mandibles clicked in what his species considered a smile. His voice emerged as a guttural series of sounds, translated instantly by the neural implants both species wore. Human Commander, your resistance ends now. My fleet controls your orbit. Your defenses lie shattered. Your reinforcements cannot arrive for 3 cycles. You have one option remaining. He leaned forward, his 4 eyes gleaming with certainty. Humans will bow. Sarah pushed herself up from her chair, ignoring the sharp pain in her ribs. Around her, the surviving members of her command staff watched silently. Lieutenant Marcus Webb stood to her left, his weapon still in hand despite their hopeless situation. Ensign Yuki Tanaka monitored the failing power systems, her fingers dancing across a cracked console. Sarah stepped closer to the holographic projection, close enough that she could see the individual scales on the general's elongated face. When she spoke, her voice carried none of the fear Krexith expected. Instead, it held something far more dangerous. Calm resolve. You bow first. The command deck of the Valorian ship fell silent. Officers exchanged confused glances. Krexith's mandibles stopped their rhythmic clicking. For a moment, the only sound was the distant hum of the ship's engines. You misunderstand your position, human, Krexith finally responded, his tone hardening. I have destroyed your orbital platforms. I have eliminated your fighter squadrons. I have reduced your capital to rubble. What leverage do you imagine you possess? Sarah's lips curved into a slight smile, the expression cold and calculating. She reached into her torn jacket and pulled out a small data chip, holding it up to the camera. 3 days ago, your intelligence assured you this colony was isolated. Cut off from Earth, defenseless. She turned the chip between her fingers, letting the light catch its surface. What your intelligence failed to mention was that we finished the prototype last week. Krexith's eyes narrowed. Prototype? Quantum entanglement communicator. Instantaneous transmission across any distance. Sarah's smile widened. Real-time connection to Earth Command. They've been watching this entire invasion. Every war crime, every civilian structure you destroyed, every surrender offer you ignored. The general's composure cracked slightly. His secondary arms, previously held ceremonially behind his back, moved forward in a defensive posture. A bluff. Such technology is theoretical. Was theoretical, Sarah corrected. The chip I'm holding contains every tactical decision you've made. Fleet positions, weapon signatures, shield frequencies, command codes your officers transmitted in the clear because you thought no one was listening. She walked closer to the hologram, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. Earth knows where you are. Earth knows how you fight. And Earth is very, very angry. Lieutenant Webb spoke up from behind her, his voice steady despite the tremor in his hands. Sir, long-range sensors are detecting multiple slipspace ruptures. Massive energy signatures. On the Valorian command deck, alarms began to wail. An officer called out in their native tongue, panic breaking through military discipline. Krexith whirled toward his tactical displays, his expression shifting from confidence to confusion to dawning horror. Sarah could see it reflected in his eyes even through the hologram. The impossible numbers appearing on his screens, 73 human warships materializing from faster-than-light travel, their weapons already charging. The Earth fleet had arrived and they had brought everything. You had 3 days to accept our surrender, Sarah continued, her voice now carrying an edge of steel. 3 days to show mercy. 3 days to prove your empire understood honor. She stepped back, straightening her torn uniform. Instead, you showed us exactly who you are. Now we'll show you who we are. Krexith turned back to face her, his posture no longer one of dominance but calculation. His mind raced through options, each bleaker than the last. His fleet was powerful, but not designed for a pitched battle against an enemy that knew their every weakness. What are your terms? The words came out strangled, forced past pride and ego. Unconditional withdrawal from this system. Immediate cessation of hostilities against all human colonies. Release of all prisoners. Sarah's voice was iron. And you, General Crexith, will stand trial for war crimes at the Interstellar Court. The general's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of extreme agitation in his species. Around him, his officers awaited orders that would not come. The tactical situation was clear. Fight and die or surrender and live. The Valorian Empire does not bow, Crexith said, but the words lacked conviction. Then the Valorian Empire learns a new tradition today. Sarah glanced at her console, where targeting locks from 73 warships painted Crexith's fleet in lethal red. You have 60 seconds to decide. Either you bow or you burn. The seconds ticked past in silence. Sarah could see the calculations playing out behind Crexith's eyes. Pride versus survival. Reputation versus reality. The weight of his entire fleet's lives pressing down on his shoulders. At 47 seconds, Crexith's posture shifted. Slowly, deliberately, he lowered himself into the formal bow of his people, his primary arms crossing over his chest in a gesture of submission that had not been seen from a Valorian general in 3 centuries. We surrender, he said, the words bitter but clear. Sarah nodded once, sharp and final. Smart choice, General. Now comes the hard part. You're going to learn why humans don't start fights. Her eyes gleamed with cold fire. But we always finish them. The hologram flickered and died, leaving Sarah standing in the ruins of her command center, surrounded by her battered but unbroken crew. Above them, the Earth fleet held position, a steel barrier between the colony and those who would harm it. Commander Sarah Chen had never wanted to bow, and in the end she never had to. She had made them bow instead.